Welcome to the City of St. Albans official podcast from the desk of Mayor James, a podcast dedicated to adding context and commentary to the important issues here in St. Albans, West Virginia. In each episode, we'll sit down with St. Albans Mayor Scott James and discuss important topics related to the city and highlight upcoming events in St. Albans. I'm your co-host, Anthony Romeo, and we do hope this inside look at our city government helps you feel more engaged with your community. Be sure to subscribe to our show on your favorite podcast platform. We're out on Spotify, Apple, and now Google. And each episode, of course, is available on our city's website at stalbanswv.com/podcast. With that said, let's welcome our host, the Honorable Mayor Scott James. How are you, sir?
I'm good. Thank you, Tony. I appreciate it, man.
I tell you, we've had a busy summer. We kind of skipped June. You know, we had vacations and a busy schedule and everything else going on, but here we are again, sitting down. We've got a lot going on here in July already this summer.
Yes. Oh, hey, let me tell you something. If it's happening outdoors, it's happening in St. Albans.
Absolutely. We got a lot to cover, but let's kind of quickly jump into the hot topic here. If you rode by Canal Terrace, it's a different scene outside there on the 1000 block of Canal Terrace these days.
It is. It's torn down. St. Albans Junior High School, the old St. Albans Junior High School / high school, is torn down. They're still cleaning it up, but they're close to completing that. And then we got to move forward on what we're going to do with the property.
As far as the next steps, is this like an open forum type thing, sequestering, feedback from the city? How does that usually work? Is there going to be like a subcommittee appointed with council, or what are your thoughts on that?
No, there's not a subcommittee. What I recommend people do, of course, if you look at social media, everybody's got an idea on what they want.
Very true, yeah.
And, some things cost us $250,000, $300,000, $400,000, $500,000, and we don't have that spare cash around.
Sure.
So, but if you've got an idea for the park or for that property, just call your councilman, let them know, and we will discuss it at city council.
Can you share some of the more popular, ideas that you've seen roll across your desk or in your ear, just to kind of spur some ideas?
Yeah, well, people keep talking about a park, be it a splash pad park or a park for the kids and everything like that, which we have some great parks in St. Albans. We've got about 8, 2 major parks, City Park and Roadside Park. But there's a lot of people that want a park there. Mm-hmm. And, that might be what ended up happening. But the problem that I have with developing a new park is that's going to be a minimum of $250,000 to $300,000. We do not have that kind of funding in our budget for that. Sure. Now, we're looking at grants and different opportunities to where we could bring some money in and offset the cost of that. Now, me personally, this is just from the mayor's standpoint, and guys, I don't have a vote on council unless it's a 6-6 tie. Yeah. All right, and I've only had to do that one time in 6+ years, is one of the weakest areas that we have in St. Albans is our housing. We're landlocked. We're very, very landlocked. I'd like to see that property subdivided into 3 or 4 lots at least and build single-dwelling homes, no rental property. People have to own the homes. And that brings finances back into the city, but it also brings in new housing in St. Albans. It brings up property values in the area. Mm-hmm. All right. So, we've got to move forward. Every time I try to annex, all right, I'm shut down by the Kanawha County Commission. They don't like annexation.
Yeah.
And but we need more property to expand St. Albans.
You've mentioned the annex issue, well, the goals and the aspirations of annexing several times, but would this not, I mean, kind of add a catalyst to that initiative of saying, look, here we are, St. Albans moving forward. We got rid of one of the major eyesores. Let's welcome some of these other sideline communities, the outlying communities in to make it even a stronger one. So I think it becomes important what goes in that spot to be a shining example of what our community can be.
Yeah, I think it would be great. You'd think that would be a motivating factor, but you know, and I understand where the Kanawha County Commission's coming from, but you know, we have got to expand. To be honest with you, the 25177 zip code, all right, within the city of St. Albans, we have 10,861 people that live in St. Albans. Could be a little higher, a little less right now. But in the 25177 zip code, we got about 25 to 27,000 people.
That's a nice tax base.
Yeah, it is. And that would allow us to do more things with the city, with B&O tax, property taxes, different things like that.
Sure, absolutely.
And we could fix some things. I know Marlene's having some flooding issues down there.
Yeah.
And but we can't just take in Marlene.
Yeah, there's got to be the other side that says, hey, we want to become part of St. Albans.
Sure.
You know, they have to be willing to come in and you know, so that makes sense.
And the thing of it is our city services, why people don't want to come into to be annexed. Our city attorney has told me he doesn't understand that aspect of things. But, you know, you can't beat St. Albans City Services.
Agreed.
You pay $75 a quarter, $300 a year for trash, for public works, for Parks and Rec, for any other services that we provide in St. Albans. And I know people right now that pay a heck of a lot more than that just for trash pickup.
Absolutely, especially if it's privatized.
Yeah, it is.
You know, I mean, if it's Waste Management or some other company, that's a large portion of their monthly monthly expense, house expense.
Sure it is.
Trash, Waste Management.
Waste Management will pick up 2 bags of trash. If they have to pick up more than that, they charge extra.
Yeah, and not in this town.
No,
they just do it.
Not in the city.
Right. So, you know, I mean, that's great news. And of course, one thing to also note when we're talking about money and cleaning up things, I mean, the dilapidated structure initiative didn't even cost much at all as far as taxpayer money. Very little.
No, it didn't.
So
we have, since I took office in July 1st, 2017, we've torn down 42 structures plus the junior high. All right. Now, some of those early on, about 7 or 8 of them, did with city money.
Sure.
All right. And then we received a grant because we started a program to where we would approach people with dilapidated structures and tell them, we'll pay for the abatement and the demolition if you pay the dump fee.
Yes.
All right. And then we take that money they pay us, put it back in the program, and it's allowed us to get more structures torn down. And the state was very impressed with that program. So we got $540,000 this past year. They've put more money into that program, so we're excited about what we're going to get for the future.
That's a pretty good lump sum of money, and, you know, as you know, there are probably more structures out there that can be addressed with it.
Sure there is.
You know, off the top of my hand, I can probably nail down 3 or 4 that I see almost every single day.
Yes.
So, you know, I mean, that's great news.
Well, I'm going to be obvious. I'm going to be direct here.
Sure.
This is a podcast. I'm not in my office or anything.
Here we go.
Why people that own property are not responsible and they punish their neighbors by not taking care of their property. It devalues their property, the next door neighbors, all right, and the neighborhood in that area. I don't know, but you know what? Our building department, if they don't fix things up, we take care of it, and we'll approach them and work with them. But if they don't want to work with us, and we summons them to court, and we impose fines on people.
Absolutely, and you're absolutely right. It does sort of leave a sore eye, a black eye on that particular neighborhood if one or two or maybe even more aren't really taking pride in that corner of the neighborhood.
Right. No, exactly.
And it looks bad, and it's almost unattractive for outsiders or visitors to come in and say, well, why aren't they taking care of their neighborhood? I don't want to come back here.
No.
So, we're not being good stewards in that point.
No, they're not being good stewards. And I don't know what the reason is, but the bottom line is we've torn down 42 plus a junior high, and we've got more in line to tear down. We just got approved this past Monday at City Council to tear another one down.
Yep.
All right. But, it cleans up our community. So when people do come through, they don't see these dilapidated buildings.
Totally agree. And it kind of gives an air of, rejuvenation around town.
Sure it does.
Especially with this new town square that you recently dedicated to Joe Dobbs. That was a beautiful project and a very sweet, story at the end of it. And here we are, his family's coming in the middle of August.
Yeah, August
to really
12th.
See it.
Yeah.
So, a great story behind that of the rejuvenation of town with building all these new, amenities and things to do, things to see. So I look at it as like a larger kind of initiative to clean St. Albans up and make it presentable again.
That's what we want. We want people to realize that St. Albans is a great community.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're not perfect. There's not a community out there today that's perfect.
Mm-hmm.
There's issues in every community. But this is a great community. I know that somebody said make St. Albans safe again. All right? Well, if you Google 10 safest cities in West Virginia and go down to the spot that says updated in 2023, we're listed first.
Okay.
So St. Albans is a very safe community.
Absolutely.
We're not perfect, and we keep working on that. We just put a mural up on the old sewing center on Old Main. Our next project's going to be on the side of Colonial Interiors, okay, and then on the side of the fire department building facing the loop. So
nice.
We're doing everything we can to make St. Albans such a welcoming community.
And, kudos to you and your administration as well as, other community involvement, people like, the Chamber and a lot of the organizations. They share that common initiative that, you're heading and pushing forward to make sure that these things happen and make sure that people know about these things that are happening and getting the word out that, hey, we're improving ourselves here and we're making ourselves look better and better every day.
Yeah, the Chamber does a fantastic job. Deb Alston Brown is their PR person, and she does a great job of promoting St. Albans, but also got to give kudos to the City Council.
Yeah, very true.
They have bought into what we're doing and moving the city forward, so thank you to St. Albans City Council.
Absolutely, and one of the initiatives that I've been kind of following too is the reintroduction of the recycling program and expanding it to include more of the items that we can accept now. Yes. Which is exciting because it felt there for a while we were leaving a lot on the table as far as the environment goes. So maybe you can kind of shed some light on where we're at with that and what people can expect and stuff like that.
Well, we were always taking aluminum cans and bimetal cans. Sure. All right. But it got to the point to where if we took certain things, we had to pay for that.
Right.
Because the recycling centers weren't taking them. All right. But it's kind of eased up a little bit. We're now taking cardboard, paper, aluminum cans, bimetal cans, and we're not taking glass or anything like that. But, we're going to continue to look and watch and check the situation out. The more that these recycling centers open up, all right, to taking things, then we are going to continue to grow what we take. The problem is, I want to make a statement here. St. Albans is doing pretty good financially, but we don't have a casino. We don't have Nitro Marketplace,
sure,
like Nitro does, or we don't have what South Charleston has. All right, and so our funding is limited, and we've got to be very smart with handling our money and everything else.
Yeah, very, very true. And and that budget affects things like public safety and everything else. One thing that we definitely need to mention here, the police department. We've got one hell of a police department. They're great guys. And
put them up against anybody in the state of West Virginia.
And they're expanding. So they're offering, they're actually hiring a probationary officers right now. So, that's the good news, because you're inviting new, fresh talent into the department and growing that department. We recently onboarded another officer. I saw,
Elijah.
Elijah, maybe one or two
Casto.
council meetings back. Elijah was introduced to council in the community. So that's great news. But, like I said, they've got they're actually hiring probationary officers right now.
They are.
Yeah.
And you got to check the website or over at City Hall, and it will allow you to get an application. You can do it online, or you can do it, like I said, you can pick one up at City Hall. The deadline is October 6th. The physical exam is October 14th. The written exam is October 28th. And what people don't realize is, the law enforcement community polices itself. They do a great job.
They do.
Since I've been in office, we've let 4 individuals go because it was, conduct unbecoming of a police officer. And we're not going to allow that.
Right.
All right. But you also got to understand, if you get pulled over, you better be respectful and polite. And then if you don't think you did anything wrong, go to court and deal with it.
Right.
But don't be disrespectful to the police.
Well, and I think it's a mutual, you got to toe the line.
Sure you do.
I mean, anytime that you get stopped, I've been pulled over for speeding once or twice in my lifetime. I always lay my keys on the dash. I always roll down my windows. Sir, yes, sir, no, ma'am, whatever.
It's exactly what you got to do.
Because they are human, and they're doing a job.
And they will treat you back with the respect you show them.
Absolutely. So yeah, if you're interested in answering the call to serve, the mayor and myself welcome you to step up and apply for the probationary officer. You can get a application at stalbanspolice.com, or you can pick it up at City Hall, from what I understand. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Absolutely. And if you want to work hard and be committed to making St. Albans a better community, we welcome you to apply.
Absolutely. And speaking of better community, we have to give some credit. Mr. Jeff Moore, our heroic animal control officer. The story that we heard at council the other night was just amazing. And it sent shivers down your back of thinking, man, he went beyond the call of duty, jumped in the... Well, I'll let you tell the story.
That's what Jeff does. There's a lot of people that want to give Jeff a hard time periodically. And the problem is there's certain laws we have to go by.
Understood, yeah.
We have to enforce the laws that we can enforce, but we can't create law, all right, that's not there.
Absolutely.
But the other day they got a call on a dog struggling in Coal River, and Jeff and I think a couple officers went over to Smoke Road. I call it Smoky Road there beside Go-Mart that runs along the river there.
Sure.
And Jeff jumped in the river, and And I'm going to tell you something. It wasn't low. It had just rained.
Yeah.
It was high. It was muddy. And Jeff went in the water and saved that dog. And, that's what I ask for our employees, is to go the extra distance, all right, to help our citizens and make St. Albans a great place.
Absolutely.
And Jeff does a great job.
And then, the other story that we heard was he actually, the very same day or the very same evening, I think, aided an elderly motorist.
Yes.
Out of a flooding waters near the...
Pushed the car out.
Pushed the car out of there down to the trestle at Washington Street, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was Washington right there near Hansford Senior Center. And, I'm going to say something here, guys.
My goodness.
Over the past 4 days, we've had to push out 4 people or two vehicles, all right, that tried to go through deep water. Guys, don't go through deep water. Go around. Find a way around. It doesn't make sense to me. Your car's going to get ruined. It's going to take water into the engine, and it's shot.
Yep.
All right? And then you put yourself and anybody else that's in that car in danger.
And the rescuers.
Yes, and the rescuers.
Yeah.
And we're going to go, like I said, above and beyond. But, guys, use some common sense out there when that water's high.
And Jeff may not be around to help you out.
No, Jeff's not going to be around forever. That's for sure.
But major kudos to Jeff, man.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for going above and beyond the call of duty there to help us out. But, all these issues that we discuss, you can find those during the council meetings, which are the first and third Mondays of the month at 6:30, and it's above the council. It's in the council chambers above the fire station.
Yes.
And again, I need to correct my notes because it still says police station.
We got a new one. We got state-of-the-art best police station in the state of West Virginia.
Absolutely. And then, of course, one thing that we do afford people, the citizens of St. Albans, is 5 minutes at the end of the meeting for you to come up and kind of share your issues and speak your piece, as the mayor likes to call it. And that happens every single, council meeting. But if you missed it, you can check out the agendas and minutes on our website at stalbanswv.com. And now we're actually streaming those council meetings.
Yes.
You can find them on the website, and I've been putting them out on the YouTube channel as well. So we're getting some views, people going back and, watching and everything else. So the views are actually climbing and getting some engagement on our council meetings now, which is great.
Tony, one of the biggest things that when I took office was we were so far behind in technology. Mm-hmm. All right. You couldn't pay your water bill or your sewer bill or your city service fees online.
Right.
Now you can. All right. It only makes sense to me. People kept talking about, let's stream the city council meetings. Now we are.
Yeah.
All right. So we're trying to do as much and the best that we can possibly do to offer our citizens.
Yeah, and now we've got a podcast.
Yes, we do.
So absolutely. So one thing we're going to do, we're going to take a quick break and recap things here coming up with all the events that have gone on since we last sat down, but also some upcoming events. And we'll be back in just a moment.
It's back for a second year. Mountaineer Main Street with Classic Hits The Mix. A block party to kick off the WVU football season. Featuring the dance and cheer teams, the pep band, and the Mountaineer. Plus autograph sessions with former players Owen Schmidt, Avon Coburn, Major Harris, and Mike Logan. Plenty of vendors, food and beverages, and live music from Hair Supply. Plus a silent auction and raffles, with a portion of the proceeds going to the Alzheimer's Association. Join Classic Hits The Mix for Mountaineer Main Street.
Mayor Scott James here, inviting everyone to come visit St. Albans, West Virginia's best kept secret, but the secret's getting out.
St. Albans parks offer a wide range of activities, including miles of hiking and biking trails, playgrounds, sports fields, and a swimming pool. Plus, St. Albans is known for its water activities, whether it's kayaking the Coal River or boating on the Kanawha. Visit St. Albans, West Virginia's best kept secret.
Welcome back to the City of St. Albans official podcast from the desk of Mayor James. Mayor James with me. I'm your co-host, Anthony Romeo. And And one thing, the mayor mentioned earlier when we first came back, if it's happening outside, it's happening in St. Albans. And that means even more summertime, because there's a lot of outdoor activities that have gone on that are coming up as well in August and September to get us through the fall when things cooler down and even more events happen. So let's go back through, kind of where we were in the last few months, topping off at Yak Fest. What a huge success this year.
It was by far the biggest and the best Yak Fest that we had.
Absolutely, yeah.
I know that we did some, what's it called?
Geofencing?
Geofencing. We're still trying to get the numbers in.
I've got some numbers for you.
But it looks like, 8,000 to 9,000 people a day?
Average was 8,000 to 9,000,
per day.
Visitors.
Yeah, and that is 16,000 to 18,000 people coming to the city of St. Albans to participate and spend money and help the economy and help the businesses. And but Yak Fest was fantastic. The committee for Yak Fest does a great job. Our Saturday night lineup, which Saturday night was always a little less than Friday night, we moved Davison Brothers over to headline Saturday night, and their warm-up band was Bucky Covington. All right, and what a fantastic evening, man. Yeah. I got to meet, of course, I've met the Davison Brothers several times, and I got to meet Bucky Covington and hang out on his bus a little bit. He's a great guy and so appreciative of what we were doing here. I do know that Chris Davidson is interested in the numbers.
Yeah, he is.
Of what we had. And Saturday night, by far, was the biggest night we've ever had for Yak Fest.
I mean, even from the line of sight visually, you could tell the thickness of the crowd.
Oh, it was unbelievable.
It seemed more dense. Not intelligence dense, but people dense.
Right.
Like numbers.
Yeah. No, it really and truthfully was. And, again, I got to give kudos to the Yak Fest committee. And we hope to continue to grow this and make it obviously the best outdoor festival in the state of West Virginia.
Absolutely. And speaking of outdoors, Main Street has now become like a central hub for live music.
It has.
It seems like it's just every single night of the week, especially on weekends, you have live music somewhere in the pocket of that street. You've got something going on. And Chuck Hurst, our good buddy Chuck Hurst, has launched a series, Live Music on Main Street. Was it the first and third or however many Saturdays a month?
Second Saturday of each month.
Second
from
Saturday. Okay.
May, June, July, August, September, and October.
Right on. Okay. And then recently, like we talked about, Joe Dobbs Square was named out of the first initial, or was it the second event? I thought it was.
That was the second event.
Second event, yeah.
Yeah, Joe Dobbs was the original owner of Fret and Fiddle. And I didn't realize till I started investigating a little bit. Joe Dobbs brought Appalachian music to the world. He's known worldwide for the music that he played, but also his fiddle playing is renowned.
Yeah, it is.
It really and truthfully is. And on August the 12th, we're going to have music and everything, but at 7 o'clock, we're going to introduce some of his children, Dale Dobbs, and Dale's trying to get his brother Scott and his sister there, and so we can introduce them. They're very excited and appreciative of what we did by naming that after Joe Dobbs.
Yeah, it's a great move and a great notion, but especially the sign. That sign is beautiful.
Well, it's gorgeous.
Yeah, it's a great looking sign. Aaron Brown.
Deb
Austin Brown's son did that. Really nice work. So,
Tony, there's live music on Main Street 2, 3, 4 nights a week.
Absolutely.
At least.
Yeah.
Between Cold River Coffee, the Tap, and I've walked by a couple times or drove by, and there's people just playing on the plaza.
Yeah, absolutely.
On their own. So, music, live music's growing in St. Albans. It's absolutely a big scene.
Yeah, and it's almost becoming a little Nashville.
Yes. I love it. I love it, man.
Hopefully without the big fanfare.
Yes.
We don't want to grow too big too quick, right?
No, not too big too quick. But what I'd eventually like to do on this live music on Old Main is I'd like to shut the street down when we get big enough crowds.
Yeah.
So
that'd be awesome, like a weekly or a monthly.
Monthly.
Yeah, that'd be wonderful. But, even more live music is going on at the very newly named also Sutton Landing at Roadside Park. I mean, they've been having, concert after concert. Scott Tweedy and Jim Snyder down there have put on various different parties in the park, well-attended, local artists, and it seems to be a big draw. They've moved it from the lower section underneath one of the shelters to kind of keep everybody happy and satisfied and everything with the, not to tick anybody off with the boaters and the parking and everything else. Yeah. But it just seems to be working a little bit better now that they've moved it to the upper level. So, you've got live music around town now, too. So that's great.
We do. Party in the Park, and Scott Tweedy and Kevin Pennington and the Parks and Rec crew's done a fantastic job with that event. The one thing we've got to work on, and it's nobody's fault by any means. If anybody's fault, it's my fault. But we need to get together before next year so they don't have Party in the Park same night we got live music on Old Main, because it takes away from each event.
It does.
And so we're going to work on that. And but it's exciting what's going on. And,
I tell you.
Jim Snyder, I tell you what, he does a great job of helping out here and volunteering.
Kudos to him.
And he's a great musician, too.
Yeah, he's well known around the state.
Yes,
because he plays also in Lewisburg and Beckley area, Fayette County, and even up north. So he's well traveled. He's a great artist and he's a great guy. But just one of the many summertime events coming up, or that have happened actually. But also we have a lot of more events coming up, especially in July. The city is going to play host to the Great Gas Giveaway from West Virginia
July
Radio Corps?
29th. Yeah, West Virginia Radio.
So how did that come about?
Well, I was approached by West Virginia Radio.
Sure.
And they're doing a 500-gallon gas giveaway on July 29th. You have to sign up at a local Par-Mar store, or in St. Albans, you can sign up at City Hall.
Okay.
All right. It's right there as you come in the foyer there before you get to the offices.
Sure, yeah.
And sign up, and they're going to draw some names. Those that are drawn will be called, and they'll be down there, and somebody's going to receive 500 gallons of free gas.
I just can't fathom how far that would take you.
Oh, my gosh.
That's a couple beach trips for me, I guess.
Oh, yeah, at least a couple.
Yeah.
Might be more than that. Might be about 5 or 6.
Yeah, so, speaking of that day, what else is going to be going on during that event? There live music?
Well, I think there's going to be some music there. They're trying to get some vendors there.
Right on.
So we've got a lot coming up. On August the 12th, we have Heritage Days on Old Main.
Yeah.
They've got a committee. They're putting it together. It's going to be nice to celebrate the history and the heritage of St. Albans. And so that's August 12th. And another big day for us on Old Main is August the 26th.
Yeah,
and that's going to be Mountaineer Main Street.
Right.
We've got 4 or 5 ex-athletes, including Major Harris, Mike Logan.
Chime in there, Anthony.
So I helped Dan Fowler and LM Communications put this together. So this is Mountaineers on Main Street. Last year it was Major Harris and Avon Coburn, and they are returning. But then we've added Owen Schmidt and Mike Logan.
Yes.
And Mike played, of course, he was on the 93 undefeated team that ended up playing in the Sugar Bowl against Florida. But he also won a Super Bowl with the Steelers.
Yes, he did.
So he will probably have a Super Bowl ring.
Nice.
If you've never seen a Super Bowl ring, come down and check
Those
it out.
are huge.
Quite impressive.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's amazing. About the size of a baseball, I bet.
Yeah, it's really nice.
Yeah.
I got a picture of my mom wearing it.
Oh, wow.
Well, and they're going to have the cheerleaders there, the dance team. but they're also bringing the pep band this year. We had the alumni band last year, but this year they're bringing the pep band. So
wow.
It's going to be exciting. And last year was a great day for St. Albans and for Mountaineer Main Street. We expect bigger and better again this year on August the 26th.
Absolutely. I mean, it's going to be big doings. It was big last year, so
yeah.
Imagine probably even larger this time around.
Yes.
So that's great news. One thing that I've been hearing the wind speaking of is it the St. Albans Nitro fireworks or the Nitro St. Albans fireworks?
Well, on this side of the river, it's the St. Albans Nitro fireworks.
And then is on the St. Albans Nitro St. Albans Bridge?
Well,
or the Nitro St. Albans Bridge?
It's the St. Albans Nitro Bridge. Everybody knows that. It's named after Dick Henderson from St. Albans. Man, come on. But no, I tell you what, we work with Nitro on several different events and activities, and they do a great job. I got to give Dave Casebolt and Joe Stevens credit for what they've got going on over in Nitro. But we've already secured the bridge being closed down.
Awesome.
All right. They're going to set the fireworks off again on the lower lot at Roadside Park so people can watch them from the bridge, but they can also line up along the river. It's going to be a fantastic event. I will put our fireworks show last year up against any fireworks show in the state of West Virginia, and I'm going to do it again this year.
You heard it here.
Yes. It's going to be a great show.
Absolutely. It was phenomenal last year.
Yeah, it was. It was fantastic.
I mean, it was an eye-opener, so that's great news. And then, of course, rounding out September is Rails Train Day. We have a strong railroad history here in town.
Oh, it's huge.
It's immense, and it goes way, way back to Collis P. Huntington.
It does.
Look that up.
Yeah, Collis P. Huntington.
Yeah.
But the train industry in St. Albans was huge at one point. Mm-hmm. To be honest with you, we're trying to get a grant. We've been turned down 3 years in a row, and I don't know why the state has turned us down, but it's a design phase for the train depot. All right, if we get that, it opens up opportunities for up to $450,000 to complete the project.
Nice.
If we can get the passenger platform back on the backside of,
sure,
then Amtrak will probably stop here.
Wow.
There's a chance for them to do that, and that's a big boost to our economy.
Absolutely.
And I got to give kudos to the Chamber for the Rails Train Days, but also got to give kudos to CNO Historical
mm-hmm.
Society for what they've done down there. And they open it up about once a month. They sold some commemorative St. Albans water bottles from Blinko.
Yep.
And so, you get people involved and good things happen.
Absolutely. And they've made a tremendous impact on what little bit of time they've been down, in that installation.
Exactly.
And it's phenomenal. So, I mean, if you think about that small impact, and then if you do end up getting that grant, think about the economic impact that a train stop on Amtrak would make.
It would be unbelievable. And what people don't realize is 4th Avenue and 5th Avenue.
Sure.
From 6th Street, which runs along by Lance Lumber
sure.
and Chandler.
Yeah.
Down to 2nd Street, which is the crossing there
mm-hmm.
that leads you to CVS and
other
places. It's on the National Historic Registry now.
Absolutely.
And so, we're looking for investors. There's some great opportunity there. If somebody, listen to me out there, if somebody would be willing to invest in that Lance Lumber building, buy it from Greg Chandler, all right, you got 3 floors. It's the most solid building in St. Albans. Mm-hmm. There's some issues with the old elevator
sure.
area. But I'm telling you what, you could put some upscale lofts on 3rd floor, maybe even 2nd floor, and then build a restaurant or sports bar there, or put a permanent farmer's market there.
Absolutely.
So there's some grand opportunity there.
Yeah, there's actually and I've forgotten the name, but there's an almost a similar location in Charlotte where they've done the exact same thing that we're talking about. And they've taken an old warehouse, an old mercantile type warehouse, and repurposed it into loft, retail space, commercial space, office space. And you go by that property on a Friday night or a Saturday afternoon, you cannot find a parking spot.
Right.
Because it's such a lively spot of that particular neighborhood near Charlotte. And just imagine what Lance Lumber could be if something like that happened.
Oh, my gosh.
I mean, you'd impact this town with so much economic injection of cash. It would just be phenomenal.
It would.
And
the thing of it is, too, it's a tax write-off.
Yeah.
You
absolutely.
know, with the historical district, you have tax write-offs.
Absolutely.
So, anyway.
But, I mean,
we keep working on it.
Like the mayor said, if somebody's interested in that Lance building, it would make a world of difference.
It'd be huge. Be huge for St. Albans.
I think it would be, too.
And, the thing of it is, they're going to have to invest some money in the building, obviously.
Yeah.
To bring it up to code and fix some things up. But bottom line is, we have a B&O tax structure program that on your first year of business, you only pay 25% of the full amount. Second year, 50%.
Yeah.
Third year, 75%. And the fourth year, you're back to 100%. So you've got an opportunity to save some money in those first 3 years, all right, and establish yourself as a business,
right,
all right, and bring people in, and good things are going to happen.
Absolutely. So, I mean, just keep at it. That's all we've got to do is just keep at it and keep moving in a positive forward motion. But everything that we talked about, I mean, you can obviously find more information on our website as far as the news updates, all kinds of calendar events. You can find that at stalbanswv.com. And any closing remarks, guys? Mr. Mayor, Anthony?
Just, remember, guys, if you want a brick from the junior high, you contact the Historical Society or the Red and Black Athletic Club. All right? They are each selling bricks. One of them's doing it as a community service. The other gives back to the community in a big, big way. Mm-hmm. They donate money to groups, not just athletic groups, but groups from youth groups all the way up through high school, and it's an opportunity for them to raise money. That's a Red and Black club, and so, we're moving forward. And, guys, if you got any ideas, okay, about the junior high property, contact your councilman, all right, and they'll bring it to council. And when we start working on what we're going to do with that property, your idea will be considered.
That's great news. Great news. Anthony, any closing remarks, man?
Other than just the fact that, for years that building stood and it was an eyesore, and in the days leading up to the demolition, it was really kind of gut-wrenching for a lot of people, including myself, that went to school there. But the thing is, now that it's down on the ground, I think I even told my mother this. I said, it's sad to see it go, but I'm excited to see what's coming next. I'm excited to move towards the future. So, it was a great place for a lot of us that went to school there. But things change. Time marches on, as my mother always says, and the future is pretty bright in that neighborhood. So I'm excited to see what's going to happen.
It is.
Likewise. It is. Like he said, it was kind of like a bittersweet moment to see that first excavator swing and hit it. It was like, okay, this is real now.
Man, I love watching Rodney Loftus work.
I tell you, it was amazing. He's seen him pluck that seal out of that wall.
That seal out there above the gym.
Yeah. So real quickly before we close, what's going to happen to that? Do you know?
It's probably going to go to the high school
as a monument and everything else.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Stay tuned for more details on that. Right?
Yes.
Okay. Good deal. All right, with that said, we thank you for joining us for the City of St. Albans official podcast from the desk of Mayor James, and we do hope this inside look at our city government and upcoming events helps you feel more engaged with your community. We appreciate your support of our efforts to make St. Albans a thriving community for all. And be sure to subscribe, like, and share our podcast on your favorite podcast platform and on social media. And like I mentioned before, our podcasts are available on our city's website at stalbanswv.com/podcast and available on our YouTube channel. Thank you again for listening, and we'll see you out and about in St. Albans.
Thank you all very much. God bless each and every one of you.